All right, guys, so this is our final lesson on customary units. We've done length, we've done weight, and now we are doing liquid volume. We've already reviewed some of the terms earlier on when we were looking at benchmarks, but now we're going to go a little bit more in depth. This is an American textbook, and so we are looking at things like gallons, half gallons, quarts, pints, and cups. Cups are actually kind of useful. These things, unless you are moving to the United States afterwards, are not going to be particularly useful to you. So I will try to find a lesson using liters and milliliters and maybe decaliters as well, because that is much more commonly used in the rest of the world. But for now, we will do this one to at least understand that there is a relationship between different sizes of measurements. So liquid volume is the measure of the space a liquid occupies, okay? So how much liquid can be held within a certain container. Some basic units for measuring liquid volume are gallons, half gallons, quarts, pints, and cups. Okay, and this is actually going from biggest to smallest. The bars below model the relationships among some units of liquid volume. The largest units are gallons, the smallest units are fluid ounces. Okay, they don't even list that here. Okay, now last lesson we talked about ounces, right? As a measure of weight. So fluid ounces are a measure of liquid, okay? So there is a difference between fluid ounces and ounces. So do be careful that you don't mix the two up. Fluid ounces are used for liquids, okay? We've got a handy little chart here. It says 1 cup equals 8 fluid ounces. 1 pint equals 2 cups. 1 quart equals 4 cups, okay? And they've got this big, kind of complicated looking bar, but it's actually not that terribly complicated. So 1 whole bar represents 1 gallon, okay? And these are the different ways that we can split up a gallon. Obviously, a gallon can be split, if you want to talk about half gallons, there's 2, okay? There's 1 half gallon, 2 half gallon, and that makes a whole gallon. When we talk about 1 gallon and we want to split it into quarts, okay, quart, you can see it kind of has, it starts like the word quarter. And that's good, that makes sense because you can go 1, 2, 3, 4. So there are 4 quarts in 1 gallon or 2 quarts in a half gallon. When it comes to pints, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 pints. Okay, so there's 8 pints in 1 gallon. There are 2 pints in 1 quart. There are 4 pints in a half gallon. Hopefully you're still with me here. Don't worry, you don't need to memorize all this right now. Now we're moving down to cups, which you can see are even smaller. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. Okay, so we went from 1 unit to 2 units to 4 units to 16 units. So we've got 16 cups in a gallon, or 2 cups in 1 pint, or 4 cups in 1 quart, or 8 cups in a half gallon for 16 in 1 gallon. And then finally, each cup is equal to 8 fluid ounces, okay? So we've got 8 fluid ounces in every single cup. So for in 1 pint, you'd have 2 times 8 ounces. In a quarter, you'd have 4 times 8 fluid ounces. In a half gallon, you would have 8 times 8 fluid ounces. And in 1 gallon, you would have 6 times 8 fluid ounces, okay? Like I said, don't stress out about memorizing this. You can flip back to this page as you're answering your questions. And yeah, so we can continue on together. So describe the pattern in the units of liquid volume. Well, going from cups to gallons, each unit is 2 times as much as the next smaller unit, right? So we went from 1 times 2 is 2, times 2 is 4, times 2 is 8, times 2 is 16. Fluid ounces kind of messes things up. All right. So how does the size of a gallon compare to the size of a quart? So we're going to draw 2 bars that represent this relationship. 1 bar should show gallons. Here's my 1 gallon. Because remember, gallon is my big liquid measurement. And then it can get then split up into all these different measurements. How many gallons are in, or how many quarts are in 1 gallon? Well, remember it's a quarter. So 1, 2, 3, 4. So 1 quart, 1 quart, 1 quart, and 1 quart. Shade the gallon on 1 bar and shade 1 quart on the other bar, all right? Shaded my gallon. I'm going to shade a quart. Done. Compare the size of 1 gallon to the size of 1 quart. So 1 quart, obviously much smaller. It is 4 times smaller, so 1 gallon is 4 times as much as 1 quart. All right? Remember, don't worry about this table. Just flip back to it as you need it. So in this example, we're going to compare some measures. So Serena needs to make 3 gallons of lemonade for the lemonade sale. She has a powder mix that makes 350 fluid ounces of lemonade. How can she decide if she has enough powder mix? So this is very similar to the conversion problems that you've been working on for the past 2 lessons, okay? It's figuring out the relationship between 1 unit of measure and another, and then finding what the multiplication is. So you're going to use the model on the last page, on page 457, to find the relationship between gallons and fluid ounces. So you may need to flip back and forth to do this. I don't. 1 gallon equals 16 cups. 1 cup equals 8 fluid ounces. 1 gallon equals 16 cups times 8 fluid ounces. Okay? So, and that's because, remember, in each 1 cup is 8 fluid ounces. So if I want to get all the way up to a full gallon, okay, which is 16 cups, I'd have to do 16 times 8 fluid ounces. So 1 gallon equals, what's 16 times 8? That's 128. 128 fluid ounces. Okay, so that's how much is in 1 gallon. So I'm going to go write that back in on my chart here. It's actually 128 fluid ounces. So then if we then say 1 gallon equals 128 fluid ounces, we can make a similar table again. 1 gallon is 128, so 1 gallon equals 128 fluid ounces. 2 is going to be 2 by times 128. Remember, as we go up by 1 gallon, we're going to be counting by 128ths, which is an odd unit of measurement. I get that. So 2 times 128 is 256. 3 times 128 is 384 fluid ounces. Okay, and then remember, we could continue on and on and on as far as we wanted. Remember, if you wanted to get to 10 gallons, you would just have to do 10 times 128 fluid ounces, 10 times 128, which would give us 1,280 fluid ounces. Okay, and that's the abbreviation for fluid ounces. FL period 0 OZ period. All right, so now they want us to compare 350 fluid ounces and 3 gallons. Oh yeah, that's right. We were working on a problem. She needs to make 3 gallons. She has enough powder for 350 fluid ounces. Does she have enough? Okay, does she have enough powder? So 350 fluid ounces. Well, that's what we're comparing. So 350 fluid ounces and 3 gallons. So we found out that 3 gallons is 384 fluid ounces. Okay, which one's bigger? 350 is less than 384. So is less than 3 gallons. So Serena does not have enough mix to make 3 gallons of lemonade. So maybe she should make real lemonade using actual lemons instead of a powder mix, and that would be more delicious anyway. Okay, so very similar to the last few lessons where we've been finding the relationships and then just working on the multiplications. Remember, you don't need to memorize this whole table. As you can see from the Sharon show here, they give you a little reminder table of the relationships between cups and fluid ounces, pints, cups, quarts, pints, quarts, cups, gallons. Sorry. It's a little bit confusing with liquid volume, but don't worry about it too much. Don't stress it. So compare the size of a quart to the size of a pint. Use a model to help. Well, 1 quart equals 2 pints. 1 pint. 1 pint. So 1 quart is 2 times as much as 1 pint. Okay? And then complete these on your own. Remember, you're using this table. You don't have to flip back and forth to the first page each time. Okay? Explain how the conversion chart above, this guy here, relates to the bar model in exercise 1. Well, both show that, oh no, the bar model? Oh yeah, this bar model. Well, if you look, 1 quart, 2 pints. If you go back to this one, 1 quart equals 2 pints. Okay, they both show the relationship between quart and pints. All right. So finish up these questions. Finish up the on your own. Make sure you explain. And then you've got a sense or a nonsense. And that will be it for today, guys. All right. Have fun.